Sad, sloppy, self-regarding Steve Bannon. Editors note the opinions in this article are the author's, as published by our content partner, and do not necessarily represent the views of MSN or Microsoft. Steve Bannon is talking about Birkenau. Auschwitz. I don't know in what context Bannon started musing along these lines, and I am not sure I want to know. His Holocaust. Bannon says his association with Trump, in whose 2016 campaign he served as CEO, taught him an important lesson: there is no bad media. Really? Such humiliating defeats never seem much to bother Bannon. Booted out of the White House after the Charlottesville debacle of August 2017, he says he was glad to leave. The atmosphere because Stephen K. Bannon will talk to anyone who points a microphone or a camera his way, anyone who invites him to a bingo parlor or a diner or a Red Roof Inn to offer his wisdom. The Brink is not the only documentary about him coming our way this year. Soon will be seen. As for right-wingers, does anyone still care? If Bannon is on the... So what does Bannon do when he fails so spectacularly? He takes comfort.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,